Let's get into this Lizzo tea. So, I don't know if y'all know, but Lizzo dropped an expanded is the word I wanted to use, of her, expanded version of her mixtape. My face hurts from smiling, which y'all already know. When I told about it on this show, I gave it rave reviews. I liked it. I like what I heard. I like when Lizzo gets on her rap bag. She definitely has the talent in that whole situation. But recently, she went on TikTok and basically went on a whole rant against the current state of the music industry. Now, she talked about how established artists are drowning in algorithmic chaos and voice her frustration. And saying that how streaming platforms have fundamentally broken the connection between artists and their devoted fan bases. And what some people were saying was that, oh, now you want to sit and bitch and moan and complain, but it wasn't that once upon a time, not long ago, you was benefiting from the very things that you're complaining about now. So they find it quite fitting that all of a sudden you got a whole lot of complaints about it, but and I guess because you're in this situation where I don't want to use the word cancel because I'm so sick of anytime somebody does something inappropriate or whatever the case is, I'm like, oh, they're canceled. No, it's called being held accountable for your actions. And I think that's the word we need to start using a lot more of instead of canceling. People are not TV shows, they're not a sitcom. You can't cancel a person. You can cancel a show, you can cancel things on a network, you can cancel a play like they did with Billy Porter. And we'll get into that story later on. But you can't cancel people. You can hold them accountable for the things that they do. And then if they don't want to take accountability for their actions, then you just don't feature them no more. And then it'll just have to affect their wallet and everything else until they can come to terms with that accountability and we authentically feel that they have pay their dues, learn their lesson, and then we could all move on with our damn lives. So I do have that clip courtesy of excuse me, the TikTok. And it is a bit lengthy. It's about 3.5 minutes. So I'm definitely we'll play that clip and we will come back and talk. Please.
Hi, I'm a multiple Grammy Award winning artist with multiple number ones and multiple platinum plaques, soon to be diamond plaque. If you are upcoming in this industry, you should watch this video. The music industry is in complete shambles right now, and you can use that to your advantage. Back in the day, the music industry was very algorithmic, as any other industry was, but that industry was controlled to a certain extent. Now that we are in the digital streaming age, there is no control over the algorithm, and it is stressing people the fuck out, myself included. Every major artist besides Beyonce has dropped music this year, or is planning to drop music this year, or has featured on somebody's record this year. I dropped a mixtape over the summer. I had SZA and Doja Cat on it, and I just dropped the deluxe to my mixtape today. And yet there are still people who don't even know I dropped music. Every major artist from Lady Gaga to Drake has dropped albums this year, and yet everyone is saying there's no song of the summer. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. It's not because the music isn't incredible. It's because the way that the algorithm is set up, no one can serve the masses anymore. This industry used to be based on serving the masses, basically like servicing your song out to certain channels and certain radio stations. The internet space wasn't so congested. There was a clear channel back in the day for major artists to put their music out and serve the masses. Now you have to serve your people. I started a private page just for my fans, Lizzo IRL, and it has been one of the most incredible experiences for me as an artist. It gives me an opportunity to talk to my fans one on one and give them the exclusives, share music with them, share my deep thoughts with them. My deep thoughts are not on my main page anymore. And that allows me to have a dialogue with the people who actually give a fuck about me. Because with this algorithm, just putting your music out 9 times out of 10 is not even going to reach your fan base. Think about the way this TikTok algorithm works. Look how many followers I have. Look how many followers you have. And when you post a video, how many of your followers actually see your video? Not that many, right? Because even though someone is following you, it's not guaranteed that they're going to see you on their FYP. And everyone uses their FYP. And TikTok knows that. So, for new artists, this is actually incredible news. You now more than ever have an advantage over even major artists to get your music out there and connecting with people at a way quicker rate. Right now is the time to put yourself out there. I wouldn't even try to go the old school route and get signed. I would just make as much music as possible, as much content as possible, and put it on the internet. As for bigger artists, bigger mainstream artists, now is the time to talk to your fan base. Taylor Swift does an incredible job of it, and she's been doing it for a long time. The Swifties are locked the fuck in. And now so are the lesbians. We're small, but we're motherfucking mighty. Anyway, I say all that to say that this year has been an incredible year for music. It just hasn't been on your algorithm. Stream My Face Still Hurts from Smiling. Out.
Okay, so y'all got the point. But yeah, I totally forgot she calls her damn fans the lesbians. That is funny. But anyway, you want to know something? She's absolutely right in that whole situation. It's like, it's cute or whatever. Yeah, she benefited and all that other stuff. I said what I said earlier, and I still stand on that. But I do agree. Like, y'all don't, and how many times I've been telling y'all, you don't need the music industry in order to get your stuff out there. You definitely have an advantage in regard. Everybody think, oh, I need to be signed so I can run around and say I was signed. But you don't realize you were a cuck to that label. The labels, and I'm going to tell you this. One of the things I learned, because I remember saying this before, there was somebody, I forget who it was, that was talking about how they were. I think it was Charlemagne that was talking about. I think he was on. He did Vlad TV or something or another, and they were talking about how like they're not playing. There's no radio songs anymore. You know how you would do some of your songs for radio specifically, and then you would get a different version when you listen to the album. They don't do that no more. And they were saying that maybe the reason why that the record companies aren't really investing as much into those radio plays and things of that nature is because what people don't realize, record labels benefit the most from being, from the streaming. Not necessarily the artist. The artists will get, I guess, from the radio spins. They get it from if they tour, the merchandise and all other stuff. So yeah, it's like if anything, take a page out of the Taylor Swift's business handbook and lock in your fans. If you have a hardcore group of fans, you can't rely on immigration. You can't rely on Instagram's algorithms. You can't rely on TikTok and all the other stuff of people knowing if somebody's out there. Create your own site where you have a newsletter or whatever the case is, where you talk directly to your fans and they know what's going on, because those are the ones who are going to support you and put the money behind you at the end of the day. So lock into those people specifically. Let those people who support you, regardless of how you feel about Lizzo. It could just be anybody. And I feel like, yeah, as these days, it's so much easier, in my opinion, to be an artist. You just got to be the one to invest in you. I know some and I'm sure that there are ways out there where you don't even need to have money per se in order to get yourself out there, create your content, post it on social media. Hopefully those songs go viral, and you just have to continue to post, and invest in you, and not realize also that Rome wasn't built in a day. The success and everything is not going to happen overnight. You just have to really take the time to really invest. And if those labels want to come along, it's like, okay, you can come along and you can do whatever. But no, I want a distribution deal. I don't want to necessarily be tied to a record label, because a lot of these times these labels will sign you and then just leave you on the sidelines. And you sitting there like, okay, so when's my album coming out? I don't want to have to rely on someone to put out a record. It's like, I know beat makers, I know songwriters, I know people who I can go and do a photo shoot for an album cover. So you don't necessarily need all of that. You don't need a label to give you the things that you could do, where there's people out here that could do really good photography and you don't have to spend 10 grand or 50 grand or $100,000 on a shoot, because there's people that be charging that much and y'all be giving shit work. I've seen it. So shout out to you, Lizzo. And I know people feel the ways and stuff about her, but she's writing everything that she said. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do y'all think of this story? It is sad to see like the state of the music industry and how it's just trash right now, and how they don't really invest and put money and behind and support a lot of the artists that they do. I just feel like a lot of these artists have become lazy too, and a lot of y'all are not business minded. And it's like, if it's going to come to your stuff, you really need to be up on your promotion bag. You need to use a lot of since the internet is quick access, you need to use a lot of this to your advantage and not just rely on um these labels to push you, because a lot of times, like I said, they will sideline you because they want to give your best work or whatever the case. Even if you 10 times more talented than the major artists they got on their roster, they will try to take your ish and pass it on to that person. And meanwhile, since you signed that contract, you're being sidelined. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you think of what Lizzo had to say on this? Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below.